Coming up, UI abruptly closing main library. And later, cleanup in Isle Kinnick, the messy outcome after game day brings opportunities for local youth.
The call heard around the nation. NFL stars react to DeJean's touchdown that was called back.
Temperatures are starting to drop with the rain coming in.
All that and more coming up on this Wednesday morning edition of DITV News.
Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in live to DITV and KRUI 89.7 FM.
I'm AJ Reister.
And I'm Johnny Valtman. Last night, the University of Iowa announced that the UI main library will be closed from Friday evening to Monday morning. The university has stated this is because of a water outage in the building due to the engine utility construction project going on. All of the other campus libraries will have office hours on Sunday, and the Hardin Library will be open on Saturday. Governor Kim Reynolds has issued a disaster proclamation after cases of bird flu have been found in the state. The proclamation was issued on Monday. A positive case of the disease was found in a commercial flock of turkeys in Pocahontas County, Iowa. The proclamation has the State Department help with detection, containment, and other precautions. And AJ, it's a bit dreary out. I know you have a big day tonight, so hopefully the sun comes out.
I'm really hoping the sun comes out because I don't want this one to fall flat.
Yes, and so we're going to send it out live to Hannah, who's going to tell us if the sun's going to come out later today.
Well, Johnny, the sun should not be coming out today, but that's right. I'm live outside of the journalism building where it's currently 60 degrees. Today, we'll have a high of 72 with a low of 58 later tonight with some cloudy skies. And tomorrow brings in the rain with a high of 68 degrees. And the rain is here to stay for the rest of the week with temperatures continuing to drop into the 40s during the day and dropping down even lower to the 30s at night and even reaching freezing on Sunday. Monday stays in the 40s but with sunny skies, but dropping even lower to the high 20s at night. And I'll have more on what to expect for the rain in a bit, but for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Hannah. For the past 3 years, the city of Iowa City has put together projects to put in trees across the city. The plan for adding new trees has been a response to the loss of trees due to droughts and the 2020 derecho. Not only are they sustaining standing trees, but adding additional ones. Their most recent project saw them put in about 200 trees in the southeast part of the city. The city also takes requests from citizens to come and plant new trees or remove dead ones.
In general, we're getting more requests than we can fulfill in the time frame we would prefer. We'd love to get everyone a tree in the year that they call in. Next year's plan,
they are planning to plant more trees on the west side of the city. Iowa City has ranked high as one of the safest states for pedestrians. DITV's Claire Green is live outside to tell us more on what that means.
Thanks, Johnny. That's right. Iowa City is one of the safest cities to walk in. Iowa City recorded only 3 pedestrian deaths between 2013 to 2022. This is significantly fewer pedestrian and vehicle collisions than the state and national average. Despite this, collisions are increasing after decreasing during the COVID-19 pandemic. Last year, there were 27 vehicle collisions. Pedestrian injuries are common on several intersections on campus. And I'm currently standing on the corner of Jefferson and Market, where it's just one of the locations. Iowa City is working to make crosswalks much shorter for pedestrians to continue to prevent pedestrians' injuries and deaths. Back to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Claire. Local Iowa City business is celebrating a monumental anniversary. DITV's Tyler Downey has more on how they are using their sweet treats to make a big difference.
Deluxe Cakes and Pastries, a local bakery here in Iowa City, has decided to celebrate their 20th anniversary by giving back to the community. The Lux has partnered up with the free lunch program in order to raise money for those struggling with food insecurity.
The most rewarding part of running the bakery for 20 years is the community that we've built. As we celebrated 20 years, as we always do, I wanted to give back. So I told people no gifts, just donate.
The free lunch program also has cause for celebration, as they are just hitting the 40-year mark since they started their mission to feed the people of Johnson County.
We're truly, truly grateful to Jamie and Deluxe for understanding what we do and wanting to be part of it. I think people maybe underestimate how much food insecurity exists in our community.
Deluxe has already raised over $3,000 and will continue to raise money for the rest of October and throughout November. From Iowa City, Tyler Downey, DITV.
This past weekend, Hancher Auditorium hosted the Infinite Dream Festival. The variety of events showcased all forms of contemporary art.
We are committed to an annual multidisciplinary festival that considers the American story from a bunch of different perspectives, brings together the creative campus here at the University of Iowa.
An immersive performance installation by theater, video, and arts technologist Andrew Schneider headlined the week, along with a mix of performances, presentations, and discussions from artists exploring the complex fabric of the American story. A new attraction is coming to Johnson County soon. DITV's Colin Carruthers has more on what this new spot is bringing to the area.
Pin Seekers is a year-round golf range very similar to Topgolf. It has the range, the mini games, the bar and food service, and the TV to watch sporting events. But other additions include a simulated sports area, 18-hole putting course, a mini bowling alley, and a patio to hold various events.
So, Tiffin's that perfect location. You got the University of Iowa there, and then Cedar Rapids, you have 5 other colleges. It's really just to give everyone something to do, since there's really not much to do over here.
Now what's unique about here is that it's actually owned by an Iowa alum.
Both of our owners, so we have 2 owners, Ryan Ringett and Austin Palms. Austin actually grew up around this area, and he always talked about how he went to the University of Iowa and didn't have much to do, so bringing something fun for all ages was his goal.
The management here has had the goal to cater to as many people as they can. With being in the midpoint of a major university and multiple family communities, they want everyone to feel included. From Tiffin, Iowa, Colin Carruthers, DITV.
We're going to send it back out to Hannah for more on what to expect with these rainy days ahead.
Well, Johnny, let's just say you might want to reconsider a Halloween costume. Tomorrow, the rain comes into Iowa City in full force for a majority of the day, with the total rainfall reaching almost an inch. So make sure to have an umbrella on hand when heading to class, or consider taking the bus if you haven't brought out your boots yet. Going into the weekend, the rain lightens up with some showers here and there throughout the next few days. But this Halloween weekend, maybe incorporate a jacket with a hood or an umbrella into your costumes. Back to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Hannah, and I'm going to have to push off my Teletubbies costumes next year again. Yesterday, the U.S. House GOP held a secret ballot vote to pick their 4th Speaker nominee in just 3 weeks. After Speaker McCarthy was removed from the position, the Republican majority has yet to vote on a new Speaker of the House. DITV's Brady Barron is live in the newsroom now. Brady, who is the GOP considering for this role?
Well, Johnny, last night U.S. House Republicans held a secret ballot vote to determine the next nominee for Speaker of the House. There was a lot of discussion around 5 different possible candidates for the speakership. In the end, Representative Mike Johnson out of Louisiana won the vote to become the next Speaker nominee. Johnson will take his nomination to the House floor today for lawmakers to vote on. While Johnson has won the nominee for the speakership, the idea of a team-up between Kevin McCarthy and Jim Johnson is gaining traction. This would see McCarthy serve as Speaker and Johnson serve as Deputy Speaker, a position that is largely symbolic. However, lawmakers are split on who they would support. Back to you, Johnny.
Thank you, Brady. Senators Joni Ernst and Chuck Grassley made an official statement honoring the Iowa women's basketball team for the historic crossover at Kinnick event. The senators praised Iowa for their contributions to the Stead Family Children's Hospital and for inspiring female athletes across the country. The event broke the women's basketball attendance record with over 55,000 fans in attendance, and this led to a $250,000 donation to the hospital. With thousands of people attending events at Kinnick Stadium, there is more than just the emotions that get left behind. DITV's Samantha Bielema has more on how the messy aftermath is cleaned up.
Kinnick Stadium, home to the Iowa Hawkeyes, is one of the university's most beloved parts of campus. With the wave to the Children's Hospital, Herky the Hawk getting the crowd going, and Back in Black playing over the loudspeaker, a game at Kinnick Stadium is nothing short of an experience.
The hospitality at Kinnick Stadium is another thing the university prides themselves on. There's food and drinks for fans to enjoy, but with that means a lot of trash.
We have to do like each aisle of the section. You were given like a pretty generous amount of area, but you had a lot of girls on your team. Interesting way to bond in the morning, early every Sunday.
The University of Iowa has partnered with the Iowa City School Districts to attack the problem while benefiting everyone. The cleanup at Kinnick has been an age-old tradition in Iowa City.
My dad or my mom used to go with me when I was in 7th and 8th grade. So it's been going on at least that long, if not longer.
It's continued because everybody benefits. I mean, the university, it would be hard to find manpower to clean that large space in such a short period of time.
Associate Athletic Director here at the UI, Damian Simcox, says that the cleanup at Kinnick can be an eye-opening experience for some students.
But it's good experience for them to see what it's like to clean a stadium and to pick up and so many I hear from all the time that realize that, oh man, this is really messy.
With students from all Iowa City schools participating in the cleanup at Kinnick, it's something that brings the community together while keeping our university spaces clean. From Kinnick Stadium, Samantha Bielema, DITV.
And AJ, I felt bad for the people who had to clean up Kinnick on Sunday because there's a lot of things thrown on the field during Saturday's game.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the cleanest look for Iowa. And earlier this week on the Pat McAfee Show, NFL stars AJ Hawk, Aaron Rodgers, and Pat McAfee weighed in on the electric punt return touchdown that was ultimately called back.
Everyone that knows football knows what he's doing.
Well, and also penalty on Minnesota for going to tackle that guy if he was, if he was fair catch. I mean, there's just so many other things that would have had to happen if it was truly called a fair catch at the time.
Nothing about this says fair catch. Absolutely nothing about this.
So
the ball is on the ground. He's pointing at it for his gunners to get out of the way. And then all they were looking at was, did he step out, correct? With the review.
Correct. Yes.
And then they're going to go back and wave this thing off. Absolutely ridiculous call. Classic of them to double down and say, yep, totally a fair catch. Nothing about that had fair catch energy. Absolutely nothing. Feel terrible for the kid. Gutted for him. For Iowa fans.
The Hawks will look to bounce back in 2 weeks against Northwestern at Wrigley Field. And there is a new podcast representing all of women's sports in Iowa City, and DITV's Aiden Wirtz has more on what it means.
Whether it's, like you said, volleyball or basketball or softball, gymnastics, like everyone, you look at the viewership continues to go up. I've always been a huge fan of women's athletics, and, it's something I love watching, not just basketball. So I think the biggest thing is just, give them the opportunity to shine, and they certainly will.
And the University of Iowa is doing exactly that with the announcement of their new Hawkeye Women Rise podcast. The podcast will highlight the incredible stories and accomplishments in women's sports and bring in weekly guests to discuss their journeys.
I think people are starting to understand how amazing women's sports are and how fun it is to watch. And it's just going to continue to grow. I think that's the amazing thing. It has so much space to continue to grow. It has so many good players in the game.
Each Tuesday at noon, there will be a new featured coach on the podcast, ranging across multiple sports here at Iowa. Fans are encouraged to show support and ask questions for the podcast at the Iowa Athletic Club in Coralville.
That was Aiden Wirtz reporting. Thank you, Aiden. And Iowa's been at the forefront of growing women's sports. You can bet that I'll be checking out that podcast. And speaking of Caitlin Clark, she was named the AP Preseason All-American, becoming the first Iowa women's basketball player to receive this award for 3 years in a row. And later that same day, Clark signed with Excel Sports Management, who will help her branding efforts as she finishes her career at the university and enters draft procedures for the WNBA. Excel Sports also represents professional athletes such as Tiger Woods and Nikola Jokic. Clark is on track to break the NCAA women's basketball all-time scoring record, starting with Iowa's first regular season game against Farley Dickinson on November 6th. And a dynamic duo shattered school records last year, and they've been doing it since the day they were born. Twins Allie and Grace Buchan-Nosbish put their names side by side last year into the record books and look to do it again this year. I have more on their incredible story from choosing Iowa to becoming legends.
I knew they were going to be really special. They were going to be elite athletes, but to see them mature and really understand, like we talked about, what does that mean on a day in and day out basis.
We were dead set on leaving the state of Iowa. We were going far away, and it happened that the best school for us was the closest to our hometown.
And the decision has paid off. Allie last year broke the 800 record by less than 0.3 of a second.
It was not on my radar, like, at all. Going into the season, people had talked about it, but I don't know, it felt a little outlandish to me. And then after my first race, I was like, okay, maybe this is attainable.
And Grace was a part of the distance medley relay with her sister that demolished the previous record by 5 seconds.
Yeah, the D-Med was super cool. We kind of went into Big Tens. That's where we broke it, knowing that we could break it. And I think, kind of like Allie said, there's a lot of room to grow in that event.
It's interesting because I know that even though they have diverse talents and they're their own unique people, they tend to want to do the same thing. They always want to stick together on runs and things like that. So, I think from that standpoint, it's been unique. I also think as a coach, it's really beneficial knowing that, you have two superstars and not just one. They're both really, really good.
Allie and Grace will now prepare for the Big Ten Cross Country Championships in 3 weeks before the indoor season starts up in the winter. And speaking of the Big Ten Cross Country Championships, this weekend the Iowa men's cross country team will prepare for their meet in Madison, Wisconsin. The Hawks claimed 7th place a year ago, where now junior Max Murphy placed 37th overall, while his teammates Jack Pendachrist and Miles Shepard also scored. Last year, Iowa was riddled with injuries and fell short of their goals at the Big Ten meet. But this weekend, Murphy and the Hawks will look to chase down the reigning champion Wisconsin Badgers, and they enter the competition full strength. Between the men's and women's teams, the Hawks are returning 14 runners who have championship experience. The rest of the competition, though, is stingy, with the reigning champion Wisconsin Badgers returning all 4 of their first team All Big Ten runners. Wisco has won the last 5 championships and beat out Michigan by 32 points a year ago. And the Iowa women's soccer team is set to start their journey in the Big Ten Championship this Sunday. The Hawks are scheduled to play the top-ranked Michigan State Spartans, who they lost to this past weekend 3-0 going into the tournament. Iowa's led by forward Ellie Otto and midfielder Josie Durr, who both have 5 goals and 2 assists on the year. On defense, Samantha Carey leads the charge. Head coach Dave Diani and Captain Carey know exactly how good they'll have to play against the Spartans to advance in the tournament.
Everybody's good, and the margin for error is small. So the details are really important.
We know we're a good team. It's our time to prove it. This is our time to show it. We're in Big Tens now. There's no easy game.
The Hawks will play the winner of Indiana and Penn State if they can take down the Spartans. And the NBA tipped off the new season last night with 2 thrilling games. The Los Angeles Lakers took on the reigning champions in the Denver Nuggets, who defeated the Lakers 119-107 after raising their championship banner. And in the nightcap, the Suns spoiled the Golden State Warriors home opener with a 108-104 win. And after an impressive rookie season, Keegan Murray will continue his NBA career tonight as the Sacramento Kings take on the Utah Jazz for their season opener. His twin brother Chris Murray will make his NBA debut with the Portland Trail Blazers later on against the Los Angeles Clippers. Johnny, it's the best time of the year for sports. All 4 major American sports are in full swing, and not to mention Big Ten championships are around the corner.
It's a busy time in sports, not only here in Iowa, but across the country, and it was nice seeing all 32 NHL teams play last night.
It was certainly a fun one.
99-year-old Willem Hoekstra has been a butterfly lover throughout her life. Hoekstra moved to Iowa and began raising monarch butterflies to release. She sees a beautiful story in the creatures as they show a cycle of life that people can follow in their own lives. Hoekstra says how, like monarchs, nothing beautiful should be destroyed just because it is ugly at one point in its life. That's all we have for you today. I'm Johnny Volman, AJ Reeser. Have a great day.